Love you.
All right. So welcome to another episode of Brad and Mira for the Culture. I am Brad Listi here with Mira Gonzalez.
Hello, folks.
And you can follow us on social media. Mira's on Twitter at Mira Guns. I am on Bluesky and Instagram. And today's episode is brought to you by Random House, publisher of the memoir Bibliophobia by Sarah Chihaya. I recently spoke with Sarah Chihaya on this podcast. Bibliophobia is a really moving and fascinating memoir about Sarah, among other things, Sarah's relationship to reading, and I recommend it. I talked to her. You should listen to the episode. Again, the book is called Bibliophobia, available from Random House.
And to be clear, you did not talk to her on this podcast. You talked to her on the Otherppl literary podcast, which is
well, yeah, it's all part of the same podcast.
All the same, yeah.
It's one
vibe.
of my literary interviews. But Mira and I don't talk about literary stuff.
I don't read.
You read your phone.
Yeah, I mean, I read all day long. People are like, "Oh, young people don't read." Then what am I doing on my phone all day?
So I guess it's time to discuss popular culture this week. I'm sort of girding myself. What's happening?
So we are starting off the episode, as we have been for the last 5 episodes, with our favorite weekly programming, the Baldwins. So I'm going to go ahead and say that we are, on this beat. We've been on this beat from the beginning. We're the foremost, the Baldwins watchers in Los Angeles, maybe, probably not. But so this episode, a lot happened. This was Brad and I both got a little bit extra stoned last night and watched this episode, and we had a very, very good time with it, I would say.
I think it's the best. I think it's the best episode of the season so far.
I think so too. I think so far I think it's the best one of the season. A lot of different things happened. It was very eventful, a lot of really weird shit. But I do want to start out the episode with moment that didn't happen on this episode of the Baldwins, but that happened while Hilaria and Alec were on the red carpet for, I'm not totally sure what. They were on the red carpet for something, and somebody asked them about the Baldwins. And I just want to play this audio clip because I feel like it's a pretty good encapsulation of their relationship and might just be a good starting off point for this episode.
The Hilaria show.
No. I think we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it feels to have it be out there.
It's gonna be great. You're a winner.
Oh my God! When I'm talking, you're not talking.
Sorry.
No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why. Yes, we'll have to just cut him out of the show.
So that is them on the red carpet. Somebody is asking them both, talking to both of them about the Baldwins, and Alex starts talking, and then Hilaria kind of cuts him off. And then Alec is trying to add, Hilaria's great. It's the Hilaria show. We love it. And then she's like, I'm talking. Which, we don't really see her being that edgy with Alec on the show. I think she tempers it a bit on the show. But on the red carpet, she just let it out. She just could not take it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it was like bickering. You could see him sort of restraining his upset.
Well, and then right afterwards, he doesn't just kind of laugh and play it off. He walks away, clearly angrily walks away. And then Hilaria is just left doing the interview all alone, which is so fucking funny because they clearly don't just want to talk to Hilaria.
I mean,
it's
you're the ones who wanted to make a reality show, put your marriage in the spotlight. I mean,
and that response I think was if you're a red carpet interviewer, the best one you could get, because now everyone's watching that interview.
Right.
So this episode starts not with that kind of bickering, but with them discussing the way that they met, the way that Hilaria and Alec met, which was they describe it as a meet cute, I guess. They describe it oh, it was such a cute way we meet, oh, it was so so rom-com. They just met in a bar. They were just both in a bar and he went up to her. That's it. That's the whole meet cute story. And they take fucking 10 minutes describing it.
Well, he was having dinner and he was looking at her and then she winked at him, she said.
Yeah.
And then after a while, I guess they were leaving and they walked past his table and he
He was like, I have to know you or something like that.
I must know you.
Oh, Alec, you're so funny. You are Alec Baldwin.
And he didn't believe that she was from Boston. So was she rocking her Spanish accent that night?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is Alec from Boston?
No, he's from Long Island.
Okay, so it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not like he'd be like, oh my god, you're from Boston, I'm from Boston, that's crazy. Like, it must be the accent, right? Like, he must have been like, there's no way she's American. Like, this is like a hot, like, Spanish yoga teacher.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm wondering.
That's so fucking funny. Yeah, they really, like, they didn't say anything else about that. They just said he didn't believe that she was from Boston. Like, they didn't explain why he didn't believe it or anything like that. And I did notice this episode a little bit of her Boston accent coming out also. She tries to hide it with the fake Spanish accent, but it does come out sometimes. So then she goes and she's like, you know, she got Alec's number, whatever, and then he takes her out to dinner. And this was just like, I feel like I had to note this. Like, Hilaria is hot, okay? She was young and she was hot. And she said it was a big deal that Alec bought dinner. As if a man has never bought her dinner before.
Yeah, I find that a little bit questionable as well. Like,
By the time I was 20, several men had bought me dinner, and I'm not as hot as Hilaria. Like, it's like, that's such bullshit. Like, not only had she been purchased dinner, she's been purchased, like, expensive gifts by men at that point. Like, it's
I was
just,
gonna
like,
say,
not real.
People are, like, buying her cars. Like, people are buying her, like, jewelry and giving her shit, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely they are. And, like, she's clearly, like, into older men to some degree. And, like, that, you know, is a great way to get gifts if you're hot and young. So, like, that seemed like bullshit. And then she said this weird line. I don't know if you, like, caught this, but she was like, Alec was really into consent. Did you catch this?
Yeah, I mean, because he's like, I didn't kiss my wife for a month.
Which, like, is weird as fuck. That's not being into consent. That's like, if someone didn't kiss me for a month, I'd be like, all right, well, you don't like me. And I'm like, I'm done with this, I guess. Like, what the fuck? Like, we're both adults. We're going on dates. If you're not, like, kissing me, I'd be like, what's going on? Like, what, do you hate me? Like, what, why are you taking me on dates? What the fuck?
Well, he was like, the way that he couched it was that, like, I didn't know if I wanted to bring her into all this, into the chaos of my life.
Which, like, at the time, he was just a successful actor who hadn't really had, like, very many scandals or anything like that. It was just like, oh, I don't know if I want to bring her into fame.
The Kim Basinger, like that whole thing with his daughter and the tabloids going nuts. Like, he'd been through that, and I think
which we will get into later in this episode also, actually.
Yeah, so he's probably like, I just think it's funny that he's like, I didn't know if I wanted to bring her. She's so sweet and precious and perfect. I didn't know if I wanted to bring her into all this. And so what I did was I married her and had 7 children with her. And now we're on a reality show.
Now we're on TLC together. I didn't want to bring her into this. I shot a woman in the face and she's helping me rehab my image.
So clearly you decided to bring her in.
So when she said this, like, specifically not saying like that we took it really slow, but like he's really into consent. Like, he asked if he could kiss me for the first time. Of course, the very first thing I did was Google Alec Baldwin sexual harassment, Alec Baldwin sexual assault, Alec Baldwin Harvey Weinstein, and all of these things to see. Because to me, this show is very...
You did recon.
I did recon. I always do recon. You know me. That's my whole thing. And like, watching this and her saying that, it is such an advertisement for the Baldwins as a family that, like, I was just like, okay, this has to be like covering up something. Lo and behold, Alec Baldwin, he did not sexually harass or assault anybody himself. So, like, he's totally innocent of that, as far as I know. But he did heavily criticize people who were accusing Weinstein of sexual assault. So basically, he was criticizing Rose McGowan and Asia Argento, who were suing Harvey Weinstein and eventually took a settlement. And so he tweeted at Asia Argento, if you paint every man with the same brush, you're going to run out of paint or men. Not great. And then he tweeted at Anthony Bourdain and Asia Argento, who were married at the time before Bourdain had died.
Well, they were dating.
Oh, dating. Okay, they were dating at the time. he tweeted at Bourdain and Asia Argento because Bourdain tweeted like "fuck you" or something, and said, "You should stick to eating worms and keep your mouth shut." And this all stemmed originally from an interview that he did on PBS, saying what happened was that Rose McGowan took a payment of $100,000 and settled her case with Weinstein, and it was for Rose McGowan to prosecute that case. He said that in an interview, admitting that he had heard rumors about Weinstein's predatory behavior for decades, and said, when women take money and are silenced by that money, even though they took the money and were silenced because they were told beyond the money it was the right thing for them to do, keep quiet, don't make too many waves, it's going to hurt your career, etc. When they do it nonetheless, it sets back the cause of change. So, like, you know, he didn't ever do anything himself, but he's clearly got some problematic opinions about women suing for sexual assault and that potentially taking a settlement.
Well, I mean, I think the issue is that they took the money instead of
Yeah.
like prosecuting and making transparent, like and preserving their right to speak out. I think he
When the
wants them
truth is that like they took that money because they got the best lawyers in the fucking country, and those lawyers told them that there was no way they could win the case. And so they took the money. And this was before so many women came out against Harvey that they did have a case. So like Alec is just again not a sexual harasser, although he did say that he had bullied women in the past.
When did he say that?
In the same interview, he was like, you know, I'm not totally innocent here. It was in him apologizing for this. He was like, I'm not totally innocent. You know, I've been guilty of bullying women, talking over women in the past, and like, that's not good or whatever. It was like part of his mea culpa. So, you know, they're kind of clearly trying to clean up his image in a way that isn't going to remind people what he said on Twitter, but is, you know, going to make people feel like, oh, he's really into consent.
Took me 6 weeks to kiss my wife.
I was terrified of her. She was scary like a wild dog.
I wanted to protect her, keep her away from all this chaos.
Wanted to protect her, Jesus Christ. What about Kim Basinger? Was he trying to protect her too? Or
well, she was in it.
Or,
she was an actor. She was an actor. So like they were in it together.
Right, she was already in it, so
Hilaria
was to protect her.
Hilaria was like a precious, innocent yoga teacher.
Jesus Christ. So,
from Spain.
So they then talk about, they ask Hilaria if she had ever dated an actor before Alec. And she goes, no. Well, yes. And said that she had dated an actor who wasn't an actor when she dated him, but later became a Broadway actor. So they told the story of going to a production that her ex was in of the play Take Me Out, which has a part in it in which an entire baseball team turns around to the audience and has their whole hogs exposed, whole dick out, just waving in the wind. And so
how do you audition for those parts? They just look at your penis to make sure it's going to be visible from the back row?
Do you think they have to look at your penis for the audition? I would have to imagine that's like not like allowed. Like I feel like they'd have to pick you on acting basis and then just figure out the penis situation later on.
Like, what do you mean? Like your acting skills? Like, you know, can we see you turn around with your penis out, please?
Well, yeah, like I think of like fucking Willem Dafoe in Antichrist when he eventually exposed his penis and they were supposed to have an unsimulated sex scene. They did have an unsimulated sex scene, but when the crew and Charlotte Gainsbourg saw his penis, everybody got quote unquote scared because it was so large and they had to use a double for his penis, which leads me to believe they did not see his penis beforehand. I
cannot even imagine people being they're just terrified because you have such a big dick.
Look, I'll send you the video of Willem Dafoe dancing with a fully flaccid penis, and you will be like, oh my fucking god, that is insane. So, one thing I want to mention about this play is that my husband, Tyler, went to a lot of plays when he was younger. He was lucky to do that because his parents were really into plays and would take them to these plays at a pretty young age. And so he saw the original production of this play that Hilaria's ex was in when he was 15 years old. And when everyone turned around and exposed their dongs, he was like front row as a 15-year-old, and like he said he really had to like hide the shock on his face because he was pretty much so close to the stage that the actors like would be able to see it if he was really shocked. And I have to assume Alec was at the same one as him. I mean, it was the opening night, like, original production. It's probably the one that Alec was at too.
I wonder, maybe Tyler was sitting next to Alec and Hilaria, or near them, and didn't even know it.
I'll have to ask his parents. They'll probably remember if Alec was there or not.
So Alec in this part of the episode is like recounting this experience at the theater where he is suddenly confronted with the I guess Hilaria's ex has a large penis as well, and so they're kind of sitting
as well. You're assuming that Alec also has one?
No. I mean, in addition to like Willem Dafoe.
Oh, I see.
So
Alec probably does, though. He strikes me as having a large penis.
Does he?
Yeah. He does, actually. He seems insecure in a lot of ways, but not that one.
So he's just like, it was a baseball bat. I was confronted with this baseball bat. His dog.
He was pretty funny about that, actually. That was like the funniest he's been all episode or all season.
Yeah. I found it charming. And then Hilaria was like laughing so hard she was crying. But then I was like, do I detect sadness? Is she recollecting this young, hot, virile actor with a large penis? And she's like crying a little bit. Like, yes.
She could have had a nice anonymous life with this wealthy, well-endowed actor. And instead she's married to a old-ass melting guy who shot someone in the face. Jesus Christ. I wonder if she thinks back on her exes like that, just because she can't have like that. Because like, how old was she when her and Alec got together? In her 20s? Like,
she was in her 20s.
So she can't, like, she has like some exes, you know, like, but probably not like a ton. Like, she's probably got like a large handful to think back on, and it seems like that was maybe one of her favorites.
I mean, there were tears, and part of it was that she was laughing, but some of it I think was a little bit of sadness. I
do feel like it kind of went over the edge on one half. It was like she's laughing. Oh, is she laughing though? Is there? Do I sense a bit of? I don't know. It was ambiguous.
But they seem to have like, it was like in good humor. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's a big issue.
It was one of the few moments in the show where I could actually see them getting along in a way that felt real and made sense to me, like hilariously. Like, I could see them both having humor about the situation where they were like riffing off of each other and they were laughing at each other and having a good time, and it didn't feel fake. It didn't feel like acting. It didn't feel like it was like they were placed in a certain place to say this thing. It felt genuine. That was like one of very, very few moments where I was like, okay, I get why these people are maybe fun or funny.
Yeah. I like them. I was trying. I don't know. I feel like I like them. Like,
you're so charmed by this family. It's so funny.
I have a parasocial relationship with Alec and Hilaria, and I can see their humanity and their goodness.
I mean, I can see anyone's humanity minus, a handful, but I don't trust. I think there's a really dark underbelly to this entire family, and I think that like knowing them in real life would be deeply problematic, and like I think there's some dark shit going on behind the scenes. So I do want to point out after this next bit that we're going to talk about that whoever's been naming the episodes of the Baldwins, like, they deserve an Emmy and nobody else on the show, I think, because they've been like doing so many good plays on different Alec Baldwin roles in every title. So in this episode, they take all of their kids to the dentist at one point, and the episode is titled Glenn Gary, Glenn Floss, which just just 100% perfect, done, change nothing, amazing. Like, give them a raise, give that copywriter a raise, love it.
Yeah, last week was Always Be Cleaning, which is another Glenn Gary reference.
Right, it's a reference to, what's the actual quote? Always be closing?
Always be closing, yeah.
Yeah,
ABC.
See, it's incredible. It's like somebody out there, whoever out there is naming the episodes, I'm noticing you, I see you, good job, I appreciate a good play on words very, very much. So they take all of the kids to the dentist. This part, I rewound and watched again, because I was so amazed by so many different aspects of it. Like, okay, so like I want to be clear here. I'm one of six. I'm one of six siblings. There's seven that Alec has, but six is a lot also. Like we could never fit in normal cars when I was growing up. We had to get vans. We were in like we had to get double cars. It was like a whole situation all the time. And like we're lucky enough that we all go to a dentist who has known my mom since she was a kid. So like they like this dentist, like there's pictures of me as a baby on the wall. Like I can call up and just be like, hey, it's Mira. Like they know us. We have never, ever, not even once in my entire life, had a situation where every single child went to the dentist at the same time. That's crazy. You have them go like individually. It's for the it's got to be for the show.
Yeah.
Because how do they even have enough dental hygienists for that?
I mean, I guess they cycle them through, but
that's like you're gonna be there all fucking day. It takes probably like an hour to do each cleaning.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It was chaos, but I think it's good. It's good television, right?
It was good television. I felt really bad for the dental hygienists who like okay, there was one scene that like really, really, really stood out to me, which was the daughter, I think it was Carmen, the oldest daughter. Not Ireland is the oldest daughter, but like the oldest Hilaria, Alec kid, Carmen, who's like 11 or 12, was getting her teeth cleaned. And then her brother next to her, like the dental hygienist is like, so did you like learn anything today at the dentist? And he was like, yeah, I learned that my sister is a dumb bitch. This kid is like fucking 7 years old, 6 years, like he's like a child. And in front of the dental hygienist, in front of like not his own parents, in front of cameras and a dentist, is calling his sister a dumb bitch. Like, again, as somebody from a family with a lot of fucking kids, and I'm the second oldest, so most of them are younger than me, those are poorly behaved children who have not been parented right. Sorry. I'm not trying to like, I know I'm not a parent. I know being a parent is hard. But if you're going to have 7 kids, get your fucking kids in line. If your kid is saying she's a dumb bitch, you take them out of the dentist room and you say very, very sternly to them, you are never allowed to fucking do that ever again. Ever, ever, ever. Like, that is like, they need to know that's not okay. That's crazy. Like, unless your kid has Tourette's or something. Like, it's just like not, you can't, it's not okay.
I mean, I have a 9-year-old who could easily say that.
But, okay, I feel like you should, it's special circumstances for River, I think. That's another situation. They understand.
He's got some health issues, and so impulse control is we're working on impulse control and also like just fixating on things. Like he'll fixate on these words because it gives him like a dopamine shot and some attention. But
yeah, and people laugh at it because of course it's hilarious seeing him swear. Unfortunately, it's really fucking funny and it's like hard to not laugh at it. But also like you guys explain that to people. You know, they're like, oh, he's got some issues with, you know, impulse control, and they're like, okay, I get it. It's not just like a like little boy being in the also like, okay, if your daughter was getting her teeth cleaned, would you allow your son in the room unsupervised just bothering the dentist?
No.
Just that alone is insane.
I mean, I think they were trying to ramp up the chaos, but I think
they
like,
must have been.
A 7 or 8-year-old boy, that's the age when like cuss words. I remember being a 7 or 8-year-old boy and that many kids and the fighting. I could easily see name calling happening.
I have 2 brothers. One of them is my stepbrother, technically, so we're only 6 months apart, and the other one is 3 years older than me. And I witnessed how little boys are, and like for sure they'll say some dumb shit like that and they'll, you know, try to get attention and they'll punch each other and it'll be a whole thing. But like if any of my brothers had turned to me and said like my sister is a dumb bitch, it would be like pandemonium in the house. Like it would be like my parents never yelled, but like it would have been worse. Like they would have like laid into my brother and like nobody would have ever done that ever again. And it's not that you like need to punish children or like be, you know, terribly mean to your kids, but you need to have boundaries where they know that if they call their sister a dumb bitch, like there will be some serious consequences and it's not allowed. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like imagine if your daughter called another girl in the class a dumb bitch.
Depends who it is, but yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, if they were a dumb bitch, that's another thing. Sometimes girls are really mean, but if it was like just like another kid in the class who was like not doing anything wrong. Just Evan just being like, oh, they're a dumb bitch.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, ideally they're not, but, you know.
I mean, unless, again, the person is being a dumb bitch, and then I would, laud her for her bravery.
It's just like kids they can test boundaries. He's got a camera on him while he's getting his teeth cleaned. I mean, this kid could have just been like trying to like act out. Who knows? You know,
I mean,
I give him a break. He's a kid.
He was clearly trying to act out, and he was clearly trying to act out like because there were cameras there. But what's crazy to me is that like they're okay with their kids saying that in front of the camera and them not doing anything about it. Like if it were me, I'd be like, okay, you could say that in front of the camera, and then you have to show us talking to him afterwards and telling him it's not okay, instead of being like, haha, chaos.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, maybe that's the strange part, is that they left that part in. Like, that's the kind of thing, like, you know, he's a kid, he's acting out, he's being stupid. Like, you don't want to like have him on
and
the
like
show doing that.
Right, and if they do, like, you want to at least get a scene of him saying, I'm sorry, like, I learned now that's not good to say. That would have been nice. Like, that would have been, like, a nice
Which boy was
scene.
it? Was it Romeo or Eduardo, or do you know who?
I have no idea what the fuck their names are, but it was one of the older boys. It was, like, maybe the oldest boy?
I don't know who that is, but it's like Alex going to be like, listen, do not call anyone a fat, whatever. No, don't call anyone a
no, that's what
bitch.
Alec did.
Yeah, you call them a fat pig, not a dumb bitch.
And only after they turn 11, okay?
That's right. You leave them a raging voicemail in which you call them a fat pig.
Which I guess, like, we could use as a transition into maybe the next thing. Let's see, am I going through these notes? Yeah, so, like, okay, so then they have, like, after the dumb bitch moment, they have an interview with Alec and Carmen together. Carmen's the oldest daughter who is called a dumb bitch. And, like, they're clearly bonding, like, more than I've seen him bond with any of his other kids or his wife, like, over the fact that all of the other kids suck. Like, her and Alec were just like, wouldn't it be nice if we were, like, alone and none of the other kids were here? And, like, she's like, yeah, for sure. Like, it was, like, I was like, wow, okay, here's him being a real dad, and I can see him being a good dad here, and it's about bonding over how the other kids suck.
Yeah, she, like, wants to ship her brothers off to, like, some other, like, military school or something, but, like...
Dude, and I don't fucking blame her.
She's very charming. All those kids, they all get a pass, but she seems like she's got a lot of personality, that Carmen. And as the eldest of 7, she's essentially like a third parent,
Eldest girl, that's some shit. I'm an eldest girl. I know how that goes. You are another parent.
Yeah, you get, like, so, I mean, like, she gets a lot of, like, childcare duties kind of foisted upon her just because it's a matter of numbers, right? I mean, they're outnumbered. So, yeah. But she seems, I don't know. I like Carmen. She seems like a nice kid, or at least
she seems like the most well-adjusted of all of them, and, like, she probably, like, will go on to be the most well-adjusted. Like, I could see her, like, actually probably having some celebrity, like, when she gets a little bit older. Like, she seems like
she seems like she's
and, like,
she seems like
yeah,
she seems like she's got the show business gene.
Yeah,
that's what I think. She's not scared of the cameras.
Yeah,
that's right.
She's not scared of the cameras. That's absolutely right. So, and then I see Brad put a note here that said, don't they have a cleaning lady? They can afford a staff. Because I think there was another scene of Alec cleaning insanely. And,
yeah, I'm just like, that's the thing. It's like he's out at, like Hilaria is like, oh, he stayed back at the house at the farm on Long Island because he wanted to clean. Like, and I'm like, that these people
the house was a mess. Like, I get it.
Of course, but, like, these people probably have a cleaning service coming through twice a week.
Now, my question is, you're saying they can afford that, but can they? And is that the issue here?
That's not a deal breaker. That's like, they're probably paying a few $100 a week.
Yeah, but, like, for the Manhattan house and for the Hamptons house?
I mean, it's the cost of doing business. There's no way they don't have a cleaning service. There's no way.
I mean, that probably, I guess, just means that, like, the cleaning service isn't doing enough. Like, because in order to, like, make sure that you're cleaning up after all of those kids and your house isn't constantly kind of chaos, you would need a cleaning lady every single day, kind of all day.
That's right.
And, like, Alec is just, like, doing the, like, picking up of shit behind the kids because the kids clearly haven't learned to tidy up after themselves. I'm sorry, they're poorly behaved children.
they're just kids though. Like kids will destroy. Like you could have a cleaning service come through and make your house pristine, and kids, like even 2 kids, can fuck that up in an
That's
hour.
true. That's
Like
definitely
you
true.
have 7 children, and there's no way you just can't keep. I mean, so you have to constantly be cleaning.
Yeah. Yeah. And like clearly Hilaria is fine with just living in absolute chaos and like is an agent of chaos and lives to just make Alex's life hell. And so she's like, whatever, it's fine. We're gonna go have fun. Alex's gonna stay home and clean the house so that it's nice for us.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, like, I do get the sense that like all of the settlements that he has had to pay, which is again, I did some recon and like more than just the Rust shooting settlements. He's had to do more than that, which we'll talk about later. I do think that it's like financially affecting him pretty badly. I think that's kind of what we're seeing here with like the house sales and all this shit.
Well, I don't know. I think like, his net worth, I want to say, I mean, who knows,
I
but
mean, I think he's
online,
fine financially. Like, I
$70
don't think,
million dollars he's
yeah.
got, but I mean, a lot of it's tied up in real estate and who knows, but he's got this lawsuit, like he's got a wrongful death lawsuit coming at him that could be hugely damaging. It could even zero him. I don't know how those settlements work, but
I mean,
it's going to be a big chunk of change, I would guess.
right, because I guess it's either a settlement or like jail time potentially.
No, I think it's a civil suit, so it would be
Oh,
a,
civil,
a
okay.
financial penalty if they file
Mhm.
a wrongful death, like civil suit, and then the judge, I think, gets to decide what the penalty is unless they settle. And I would imagine they'll try to negotiate a settlement so they can just like
I'm
tie it up.
sure they will. I'm sure
Yeah.
they will. And if there isn't a settlement, it just means they can't afford a right settlement. Or like one that, is enough for the people, which I guess would be indicative of them being poor secretly. So then see a lot of shit in this episode. So then we see Alec with what appear to be his only friends, which are just 2 normies, non-famous regular guys, and
Who I liked. I thought like, well,
me
if these are
too.
Alec, but see, this is the thing. If these are Alec's good buddies, then that speaks well of him, that these are his buddies.
I mean, I think that what speaks, because like I don't, we only saw them on camera for a minute, who knows, they did seem like totally nice guys, but I think what speaks well of him is just that he has maintained friendships like that are so close with non-famous people. That's actually weirdly rare among famous people, and I think
Totally.
it's kind of a good sign that somebody is like trying to be normal or still able to be normal after all this time.
I gotta say, Alec wears his fame pretty lightly. Like he goes out. No, but I mean, like in the, I don't know. He goes out. I mean, yeah,
he
I
is
don't
in
know.
a reality show on TLC right now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like some people are famous and they're like super reclusive, and like he'll go out. He's like
He's not
doesn't see
reclusive, that's for sure.
doesn't have like the vanity maybe that some of the famous people have. He'll be like in a t-shirt and
Again, he
shorts.
is doing like a season-long advertisement for how his family is nice and good and actually don't be mean to him.
Yeah, but
Would you stick with Alan if you were his friend?
would I stick with Alec?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if a
Yeah?
friend of mine got into it, like, had some sort of tragedy happen like this where if they're truly your friend, that means you don't abandon them when bad things happen. Like
What if
that's
you were also famous, though? Like, what if you were a famous actor and it could affect your career pretty significantly?
well, then you would just say like, look, like Alex said, he said like, I don't expect people to take out an ad in the Hollywood Reporter like supporting me. But like you can go over to his house and just like hang out with him or call him on the phone and see how he's doing or just like
Would you be
support
on
him.
camera during his reality show?
Uh I mean that I don't think Alec would. I think Alec would understand if like you're some sort of A-list actor.
But like, would you do it?
I don't. I mean, no. I mean, not if it's going to like cause like a lot of damage, and I don't think Alec would care. Like,
That seems
that
true.
that shouldn't be the metric. Like, oh, you have to be on TLC with me in this reality show in order to prove you're my friend. But like
I
the
wonder
way
what the
Hollywood
metric
works,
is.
I think some people just turn their back on him, and that stinks. Like,
Yeah.
somebody hits hard times. Like, I get that, but
I
that's like.
mean, it also depends on if you interpret it as hard times or like a grievous, like, shirking of responsibility that led to a tragic death that's like totally unforgivable. Which, like, I think it can be viewed in either way depending on where you're standing there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like talk to the family of this woman who got shot, and
Yeah.
like, I mean, but I just the thing that I
And the
always come
crew
back
on
to,
set, like, about how dangerous it was before she got shot and all of that. Like,
yeah,
that's rough.
yeah, it's rough, it's rough. I just keep always coming back to he didn't want anybody to get hurt. It wasn't like
Yeah, no.
willful, but it was like
It was clearly
overworked.
traumatic for him, of course. It's like, yeah, he clearly did not want that. He wasn't trying to kill someone. It wasn't even
No,
like, yeah, it was horrifying, I'm sure. Like, less horrifying for him than like her family, but still horrifying.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like that would be. I cannot imagine. I mean, harming somebody like killing somebody accidentally is like a fucking nightmare. I
Oh my
cannot
God,
even
a nightmare.
yeah, like just a complete nightmare. And then to have it happen in this really public way and to have this feeding frenzy happen around you
Have you
just
seen
makes
the
it
movie Hereditary before?
no.
Do you like horror movies? Do you ever watch horror movies?
I don't mind them. I mean, I just don't like the only time I can watch a movie is at night. I'm not watching a horror movie before I go to sleep. Like
All
it's not
right,
happening.
well, if anyone's not seen Hereditary, maybe fast forward 20 seconds because I'm about to give a big spoiler here. Ready? 3, 2, 1, fast forward. So there is a part in the movie where the brother is driving the younger sister home and she sticks her head out the window and then gets hit by a pole and gets beheaded.
Oh God.
And it is like in a movie that has 1,000 of like the scariest scenes I've ever seen in horror movies. That was this not the part where she gets beheaded, but the part afterwards where he's just sitting there, like trying to figure out like how to tell his mother that she's been beheaded, that her dead body's in the car. Like it is one of the scariest scenes I've ever seen in a movie, like
Ugh.
hands down.
Yeah. Awful. Awful.
Accidentally killing someone, very, very bad.
Very, very bad. Yeah. Not something that you wish on anybody.
Yeah, no, not at all. And it did happen to Alec, and that's terrible. But he's got normie friends, so at least there's that,
He's got normie friends, and then he also put on camera his friend Caroline Ray, who's like a comedian, and
I love her.
well, she's his good buddy, and that also speaks well of him, and she stuck with him. I like friends who are like with you in the down times. I love those kinds of stories. Like that's what the way it should be. And Caroline Ray seems like a lovely human. She seemed funny,
Yeah,
and they're
she seems like a
buddies.
real one.
Yeah,
Like she does seem like she's loyal, and like she like her being friends with him was like it is the moment where I felt the most like, okay, maybe this guy's all right. That
yeah.
she's friends with him. I was like, okay, maybe that's the one time I was ever like, maybe I can feel okay about him for 2 seconds. Because if she likes him, who knows?
I mean, he's a complicated person. He's got his flaws, no doubt about it. But we all are. We're all fucked up.
Yeah, we're not Alec Baldwin though. That's another kind of fucked up.
I don't know if I want to bring you into this chaos.
Jesus Christ. So speaking of that, the next part of the show, they go to dinner with Ireland, who is Alec's daughter from his previous marriage to Kim Basinger.
Right.
They had only kind of vaguely referenced Ireland up to this point. It's all kind of been like, building up with the Ireland of it all to this moment. I didn't think she was ever going to even be on the show. But weirdly, Alec wasn't there for the meeting.
Yeah,
Like,
he wasn't there for the dinner. And but I just got to say right off the top. So Hilaria is technically Ireland's stepmom, but she's like 11 years older than her. So they both were pregnant at the same time. So it's like this, kind of strange dynamic. And they are filming in this restaurant. Ireland is there with her baby and with her husband. And Hilaria is wearing like a tight black mini dress.
like skin, we're talking bodycon mini dress. Like full, like just like the like, and like, you know what I really respect about Hilaria, that like it doesn't matter what the situation is, she is gonna look as hot as she possibly can. Bring her to a funeral and she's gonna wear the tightest mini dress she owns and she's gonna look good.
Yeah, I mean, she looked fantastic. But then, like, Ireland seems like very Portland, Oregon. I guess she lives in Oregon. I would imagine she lives in Portland. She's like kind of got like tattoos, and she just seems sort of earthy.
Yeah, kind of like chill. Like she seemed like a very like calm presence. Like she was like very not chaotic, like distinctly not chaotic.
Yeah, yeah. She's like the antithesis of the
Yeah.
Alec and Hilaria dynamic. But She seemed nice. I mean, I
She seemed
liked.
very nice.
Yeah, and that was the first time that I think Hilaria had a chance to meet the baby, which I think makes some sense. They both had babies, chaos. They live on opposite sides of the country, but like I didn't
Yeah.
understand where was Alec? He must have been working or must have been cleaning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Apparently, he's not, wanting to act at all right now. So I don't know what job he's doing, but apparently he's cleaning. They like FaceTimed him from this dinner. Um, and also, I just want to point out that I have had a stepmom who was 7 years older than me, so I do know what that is like. And also, Hilaria having been pregnant at the same time as Ireland or around the same time, means that Ireland's daughter has an uncle who is younger than her. I also have that. So my uncle Ulysses is 3 years younger than me.
Ulysses?
Ulysses, he lives
Okay.
in Guadalajara.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he had like a weed dealing charge last I heard, but hopefully he's all right.
Good luck, Uncle Yuli.
Good, Yuli. So I do just want to point out here, Alec was not there, which makes me wonder what kind of terms her and Alec are on. I don't know. But I just feel like this might be a good time to read the transcript of the voicemail which Alec Baldwin left for Ireland when she was 12 or 11 years old. All right, so I'm just going to read this out. You have insulted me for the last time. Wait, I'll try to do an Alec impression. You have insulted me for the last time. You don't have the brains or decency as a human being. I don't give a damn that you're 12 years old or 11 years old, or that you're a child, or that your mother is a thoughtless pain in the ass who doesn't care about what you do. As far as I'm concerned, you've made me feel like shit. I'm gonna straighten your ass out when I see you. I'm going to really make sure you get it. I'll let you know how I really feel about what a thoughtless little pig you are. You are a rude little pig, okay? So
Oh, God.
this I throughout this whole Ireland thing, there was some, interstitial interviews with Alec and Hilaria, and Alec kept using this very careful wording, I noticed, where he said, my relationship with Ireland was negatively affected by our divorce, and I regret that. I'm just gonna say it's not really the divorce, it's more Alec calling his daughter a pig. Like, I've got like a really shitty dad. My dad has never called me a pig.
I mean, that's heavy. I don't know what prompted that. I mean, there's no justification for it. You just
I mean, and him being like, you're 12 or 11 years old or a child or whatever. I don't know how the fuck old you are.
She's 12, dude. Calm down.
11 or 12 or a child, whatever. I don't care. Fucking insane.
Insane. Yeah, like a low. It's got to be an all-time low moment. That's all you can really say about it.
Yeah, truly. It's shooting someone in the face, calling your 12-year-old daughter a pig on the phone.
Yeah, just getting too wrapped up and just having anger management issues.
So the show kind of wraps up with a very staged beach walk, and they are driving to the beach. And Brad pointed out here that Hilaria always drives. She's always the one driving, never Alec. There's even a scene where the kids basically beg for Hilaria to drive instead of Alec. And again, I did some research here and discovered that right before the Rush shooting, just a couple of months before, he got into a car crash on PCH that was 1,000% his own fault. Like, absolutely his own fault. So
He's a shitty driver.
yeah, so they were going up Cross Creek Road, which is one of those like roads off PCH Malibu that's windy and only has one lane, and it's got two very thin lanes, going either way. It's not a one way, but like, only one lane on each side. And Alec tried to speed up and cross the double yellow on the left and get ahead of this guy, and ended up like hitting the side of his car. So he's clearly a terrible driver.
I mean, I insist on driving whenever my entire family goes someplace. Usually there's one person in the couple who always drives. I don't think it's that abnormal. But
my husband doesn't know how to drive, so that's, he's from New York and never learned, so that's I guess true of my relationship too.
He doesn't drive at all? Does he not have his license or anything?
He doesn't know how to drive at all. He's never learned.
Fascinating. Okay.
Yeah, fascinating is one way to put it. So it ends with this sort of staged beach walk where, again, Hilaria is standing there and like looking hot in a hot outfit, and just watching as Alec cleans up the beach.
Yeah, he's like, that part I thought was funny. He was like picking up trash like a dirty sock.
It was so fucking funny. Like, and then Hilaria says something which did make me think twice, which was that she said, "Are you gonna bring those home and put them in your jars?" Does he have jars of trash in the house that he's collecting from like the beach? Because like that, if that's true, Alec was like, there's no jars. There are no jars. Like, but like if the jars thing is true, maybe he does have OCD.
I mean, maybe we'll find out about the jars in a subsequent episode.
I mean, Jesus, God help us all. I hope we find out about the jars. That sounds like some real Howard Hughes shit. I would love to see that. And then it ends with them talking about scattering Alec's ashes. Like,
yeah,
it
like,
was so
scatter
dark.
me here.
Yeah, he's like, "This is where I want to go," and it was like a shitty beach, also.
I don't know. It looked kind of pretty to me, but I feel like, yeah, the age thing, they're just kind of living it out in the open. He's 66. He's not in the greatest physical shape. Like,
Can't believe he's only 66.
He's been through a lot. He's got a lot of stress. Like, he's old and not in the greatest of health. So it's like at some point, and like, just like if things
and
unfold.
She's constantly trying to kill him with the cats also, so.
But at some point, like she's going to be probably in her 50s and he's going to die. That's just the way it's going to probably go, right?
And there's not going to be a fucking prenup, and it is going to be a fucking issue between her and Ireland. Holy shit.
I'm sure he's got estate planning, I would imagine.
Yeah, but like, I'll bet she's the executor, and that kind of means that she can fuck around pretty badly.
Who? Hilaria?
Hilaria, yeah.
Yeah, she's got to be with 7 kids. Like he's
for
not,
sure.
Yeah, but I have a feeling he'll take care of Ireland. I think he's.
I mean, I guess she's got Kim Basinger, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. So she's got Kim, but he's got 7 kids to take care of, and like, even if he's got $70 million or whatever, that's not all cash. So those kids,
it's mostly property. The kids might be fucked. They might need to make careers for themselves.
Well, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Like Steven's daughter, what's her face? Haley
Baldwin.
Haley Bieber.
Well, she's married to Justin Bieber. She's fine.
Exactly. Right? They need to all just like marry Justin Bieber's, and then they'll be great.
They're going to marry Kanye's kids. I'm telling you, there's going to be a union.
Dear God. I mean, that's a real like arranged marriage between the King of Spain and the Princess of Monaco or whatever the fuck.
But I was getting a vibe. It occurred to me as I was watching this episode. I was like, oh my God, like, this is like Hilaria is like bringing it. Like she's wearing great outfits in every scene. She's fully made up. Like this is her moment to be on TV. She's never she's been in the public eye, but she's never really been the star of a show in this way. And she always kind of wanted to be, I think on some level, like that yoga influencer, but like that didn't, that kind of happened, but not really. And now she's on this reality show and she's got all these kids and Alec is older. I suddenly had this flash where I was like, she's got some Kris Jenner vibes. Like she's got like this matriarch who's got designs on being a public figure. And I got to say too, she looks great on camera. She's got a lot of personality. She's comfortable sitting there talking to the camera and, sort of playing up the whole reality TV of it all. I could see her becoming like a talk show host. I could see her having other reality shows.
I think that's definitely what she wants and what she's striving for. Like, I think she desperately wants to be a Kris Jenner, wants to be a momager to the kids, wants to have reality. Like, she wants to be a celebrity, like, more than Alec, maybe. Like, I, like, feel like she probably even maybe talked Alec into this show in a way, like, a little bit. She, like, wants this bad. She's ready every time. She's, like, got her little quips ready for the interviews. She's got her, outfits ready for picking up the kids, or like skin tight leather catsuit for picking up the kids from school.
No, the kids are coming home from camp and like Hilaria greets them at the door in like literally like a Catwoman outfit. It was like a black bodysuit, just like skin tight. So funny.
I was watching with Tyler and he looked at her and was just like, what the fuck is this? Is it Halloween? What's going on? And I was like, no, this is just like, she dresses like this in all the episodes.
She looked good in that jumpsuit that she was sitting on the couch in. I thought that was my favorite outfit, was the jumpsuit with the belt.
What was your
And like,
least favorite outfit?
I think that I didn't love I think the dress at the dinner with Ireland was problematic to me. It was a little too tight and it was just so wrong for the context. Like,
Yeah, it was
what are
really
you
wrong for the
doing?
context.
It almost
Really,
felt a
really
little
wrong.
it felt a little competitive. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be in a scene with my husband's other daughter from another marriage, and like
True.
I'm gonna look fantastic. Like that was what it felt like to me. And
That's a really good point and absolutely true. Yeah, wow.
but not the thing to do. Like you're meeting a baby, wear a sundress or like something more casual, you know?
Yeah, like or like a long tight dress or something. Like
Something. Yeah.
anything besides that.
Yeah, that was like that's like a dress you wear like when you're going out dancing, like when you're
Mm-hmm.
24, you know.
I mean, or when
Uh
she's trying to distract the paparazzi in a little romp.
that's right. That's right. But I feel like it was a good episode. I love, I have a lot of love for the Baldwins and I look forward to what is it, 6, episode 5.
6. Yeah, episode 6. So, yeah, on to our regularly scheduled programming. Our first item of the day is about this is weird as fucking shit. So, it's about Tiger Woods who uh is now dating a member of the Trump family. And can I just say, like, they are just busting new Trumps out of fucking nowhere. Like, every fucking 5 minutes, there's another Trump. Like, where are they coming from? It's like you've got fucking Tiffany, you've got the granddaughter, you've got like what is happening?
They're coming from the depths of hell is where they're coming
They're
from.
just emerging from the bog, just
Yeah,
like
from the
just
maw of just the underworld.
just like fucking coming out of like oil in the ground.
Yeah. Like the thing. But
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
what is Tiger Woods? Like Tiger Woods
He's a
is
Republican.
he's an oddball. What is it? Yeah, what's
I
he doing?
I always just think of and I think it was 2007 or something like that when texts leaked between him and I guess a porn star he was cheating on his wife with, where he talked about wanting to do a golden shower on her, which is when you piss on somebody.
He wanted to
Um,
pee on her or he wanted to be peed on?
he wanted to pee on her. And then his wife found the texts, and he was trying to escape the house so quickly that he knocked his own mailbox over.
Well, yeah, and he was on pills. I mean, he's kind of a mess. Like
He's a total mess.
yeah, he's had a lot of issues, and I just like I kind of want to, like, I feel bad. He's like, he went through that really public, ugly, embarrassing divorce. And then he had like that car accident and shattered his leg and he's got all these injuries. And like, you watch him try to play golf now and it's like painful.
Really?
Yeah.
He's like not good anymore?
Well, no, his body is just shot. He's been injured so much. And that car accident, like truly, like he almost had to have his leg amputated. Like it was a really bad injury.
Not the one where he knocked over his mailbox.
No. It was another one. It was over in Palos Verdes where he was
Oh, right.
playing in a tournament, but he like was speeding in his, his car and like wrecked really badly and almost lost his leg. So
Jesus.
he just can't like really compete anymore. It's like a great champion who's like very diminished physically. So
For
it's
some
kind
reason,
of,
I thought he was still like a champion golfer. I mean, I guess I don't follow golf.
well, he's an all-time great, that's undeniable, but he can't do what he used to do. And he hasn't been competitive in a tournament in a long time, like in a major tournament in a long time. And
Like
he
he
can
hasn't
bear,
competed at all, but he's just lost.
well, both, but lately he
Okay.
just can't even get out there. And so there's a lot of, a lot of
Why
me's
doesn't he
like,
just retire?
I mean, because these guys don't retire. He'll play, and it's all he knows how to do. But you're just like, okay, like I don't mind a redemption story. I don't mind somebody's fucked up and made some
Sure.
crazy decisions, and that's life. But I'm ready to kind of forgive. But then he goes and does this. It's like, what are you doing, Tiger? You're canoodling with a like Don Jr.'s ex-wife. You're a billionaire. You could date so many women. Like you got options, dude, and you're dating Don Jr.'s ex-wife.
I mean, I think what you just said, you're a billionaire, really it gives away the whole thing. I think for a lot of these people, like we know them as famous people, as people who play sports, as people who are talented in one way or another, and then we're all very disappointed when we realize that at the end of the day, they are primarily rich people, and that's why they're supporting Donald Trump because they're billionaires and they want less taxes. And so, yeah, he's great. Whatever, they don't care about anything else, literally anything else, enough for that to be an issue.
Yeah, ugh, just grosses me out. The whole thing. I mean, whatever. Enjoy. If you're happy, you're happy, I guess. But it's like,
I didn't know that Don Jr. had another ex-wife. I thought it was just Kimberly Guilfoyle or whatever. Or did they just date?
They just dated. He dated her after he divorced his wife, with whom I think he has multiple children. And then he dumped Kimberly Guilfoyle, and now Don Jr. is like dating someone else. So he's just repeating his father's patterns. You know, it's the
God,
whole
imagine
womanizing.
dating Don Jr. What a fucking
Ugh.
insanely
Just-
disgusting man.
Ugh.
I worked with somebody actually who went to college with Don Jr. And so you have to imagine I got as much dirt as I possibly could. And what I learned is that Don Jr. like would throw parties, big gigantic parties at like his dad's house when his dad was out of town. It would like, or like because it was in Florida. And it like they'd be these big elaborate things with like, you know, bartenders and drugs and whatever, and like every single time he would end up vomiting on himself and crying. This is not me like saying, this is an exact quote from my coworker who was friends with him. Said he would always end up vomiting on himself and crying about how his dad isn't proud of him. Like,
oh God. I mean,
you can
that's
call
the
this
thing.
unverified, but like I verified that this man went to college with Don Jr. and knew him. I've seen pictures of them together. So, you know, take my word or don't. But, and apparently also, like, Don Jr. would throw these parties and then Eric would be there and he would be so annoyed every single time. He'd be like, Eric, like, fuck off. Like, go away, Eric. Because he was, like, just, like, a nerd and just, they hated each other, I guess.
Oddly enough, I also have a friend who went to college with Don Jr. at Penn. They went to Penn.
Oh.
And the story that I heard was that it was like Parents' Weekend, and Donald Trump shows up at Parents' Weekend for Don Jr. Like, he actually showed up, which I found interesting. But
Wow.
you know, Donald Trump also went to Penn, so it was like him coming back,
Yeah.
and like, you know, there's like it's about his ego gratification. Like, this is my son continuing my legacy here at Penn,
Right.
and apparently he was there for Parents' Weekend, and they were, you know, I think there were people around, and like Don Jr. and Donald got into some sort of argument, and Donald slapped Don Jr. across the face, like in front of people.
In front of people. Wow.
That's what I heard. I mean, something like that. It's been a minute since, you know, this is kind of secondhand story, but it's from a guy who like definitely went to Penn and was like in classes with Don Jr., you know, like they
that
took
is
like
crazy.
But it doesn't, I mean, that seems like something that could have happened. I don't doubt it, you know, for a second.
Now, and I do want to clarify, I think that my coworker is from Florida, which is how he knows Don Jr. because of their Palm Beach, whatever. Don Jr. spent time there and they had family friends or something. I don't think he went to Penn with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, this is the thing, is that like, I find these people like reprehensible, and you know, my antipathy knows no bounds. But I can feel
is literally a serial killer. I swear to God.
Well, I mean, these kids never had a chance. Donald Trump never had it. Donald Trump never had a chance. He was raised by sociopaths.
None of them have had a chance for generations.
That's what I mean.
Fred never had a chance.
So there's part of me that can have compassion for even Donald Trump is the little baby Donald Trump, like 4-year-old Donald Trump, whose mom won't like give him a hug. You know,
I mean, it's my strong feeling that all babies are innocent. Like, people say like, oh, would you kill baby Hitler? And like, my response, as hilarious and insane as this is no, I would take baby Hitler and I would raise him to not be Hitler.
I mean, yeah, that would probably be, but then,
better,
you know,
than shooting a baby, and would be more likely to like not lead to Hitler happening.
I think you should shoot the baby, Mira.
Is that Alec Baldwin telling me to shoot baby Hitler?
Put the baby in a burlap sack and throw the sack into a lake.
If I had 2 bullets and I was in a room with Alec Baldwin and baby Hitler, I would shoot Alec Baldwin twice. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I mean, Tiger Woods dating Don Jr.'s ex. Like, good luck, I guess. I don't even know what to say about it. It's all just like a weird universe of like exorbitant wealth and golf and Florida. There's something very Florida about it all, because Tiger
is so Florida.
Well, that they all live in Florida because there's no state income tax in Florida. It's just why they also live in Texas, because they can keep another 10% of their money in these states.
Right, exactly. It's also, it's like why anybody lives in these fucking states, or pretends to, at least. Like,
Right. They
have a
keep
property there or whatever.
yeah, but there's also just that Florida vibe of just like Tiger and golf and the Trumps and the fucking whole
Just,
scene.
yeah, McMansion fucking hellscape.
Just-
So our next story is one that I'm going to say Brad and I have a small disagreement on here, I'm pretty sure, which is Ozempic. So Nikki Glaser went on a late night show. What late night show was it even? I don't
I
even
think
know.
it was the Tonight Show, but
Okay, so she went on the Tonight Show.
or
And
like or
discussed,
Stephen Colbert, one of the two. I have no idea.
yeah, I don't know,
But
something like that.
she's a comedian for people who don't know who Nikki Glaser is.
Yes, she's a comedian. I don't really know how she became famous. She's on a lot of like roasts and stuff like that.
I think that's how it happened. It's like the roasts. I will say this about Nikki Glaser. She is a fat, I mean, she's a funny woman.
I
Good
really thought you were going to say she is a fat ass.
She is. No. She's clearly in the gym a lot, but she is a fabulous talk show guest. Like I've heard her on Howard Stern many times, and like she's just an open book and will just talk shit and is very, very good on those
I mean, I
shows.
watched this clip of her talking about Ozempic and I was laughing. She also hosted something recently and I thought she was very funny.
She hosted the Globes. The Golden
Yeah,
Globes.
she was very funny at the Globes, I thought. Like usually those hosts really suck and she was funny. She was like saying some genuinely funny shit.
She did good.
And so she was talking about Ozempic on the show. I don't really know how they got to that topic, but the quote that she said here, and I'm not going to be as funny when I read it, but I'll try, is oh, I love it. I'm like, do it, girl. I have no judgment. If you want to do Ozempic, hell yeah. I want people to feel more comfortable talking about doing it because I feel like there's this shame, and the shame is only from thin people who want you to stay fat. Like that's really where it's coming from. They're so mad that you're getting thin now because that's all they have, right? They're so mad, but they can't say it. They just go, no, you're stealing medicine from diabetics who need it. Like, that's their excuse. It's suddenly all these thin white women are like, diabetics need their meds. Like, no, I think you're upset that Kathy Bates has a thigh gap. Now,
Does Kathy Bates have a thigh gap now? Is that what's happening?
She's gotten much, much thinner. She actually looks great. I don't think she actually has a thigh gap, literally, but she's lost a lot of weight on Ozempic and looks fantastic. And I'm going to say I agree 100% with Nikki Glaser here. Everyone's like, diabetics, blah, blah, blah. Nobody even knew what Ozempic was for a million. None of these people said that they cared about diabetics before this. Like, it's also like none of these people ever discussed, like, oh, don't take meds from blah, blah, blah. Like, it is being used off label for a medical need. Like, it's just so stupid. Like, it is true. They want you to stay fat because being thin is what they have that you don't. And it's something that rich people can get easier without Ozempic than poor people because healthy food is more expensive. And so it is also like, an Ozempic is obviously expensive too, but it's like a way that people can feel superior. I exercise more, I eat healthier than you, I'm a better person than you, which is why I'm thinner. And then you get a medication that makes you thinner, and these people have to countenance with the idea that maybe it was a medical issue that you need medicine for.
Well, I have no problem with somebody who's like diabetic. If there's a homeless guy in my neighborhood who's on Ozempic because of diabetes.
Right, but she's talking about if you're not diabetic.
Yeah, and my issue is that like I'm working so hard. I'm exercising.
But this is what I'm saying. You're doing it right now. You're saying like, well, see, the difference is that you're just taking a shot. I worked hard. I eat healthy. I exercise every day. I go on hikes. I'm a better person than somebody who is fat and not doing these things and taking Ozempic.
No, it just feels like cheating. It's like, wait, what? Like this, I mean, I think it's like I'm exasperated. I don't give a shit if somebody takes Ozempic, but it's
how is it cheating? Like, is it cheating if somebody has such bad anxiety that they can't go to the gym and then they start taking anxiety medication and they can go to the gym? Is that cheating?
Yes. Fight through it. Go do your spinning class.
Consistent.
That's right. I think that it's fine. I just think I do think like there are a lot of people taking Ozempic obviously for purely cosmetic reasons. There's no like imminent diabetes or it's just like
for someone like Kathy Bates who's getting older and who was not crazy overweight but a little bit overweight.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I don't have a problem. But it's just like it's like somebody who's like 20 pounds overweight, who's like otherwise healthy, who's like, yeah, I just want to take Ozempic because I don't want to have to like exercise any discipline in my life or like do anything. I just want to like take the shot.
Yeah, but
There's
like, do you think these celebrities are really like not exercising any discipline in their life and just doing a shot? Like,
Yes, I do. I do. I think there's lots of people, celebrities and non-celebrities, who are just
celebrities,
like,
their whole thing is like keeping up their appearance and making sure that they look good. There's 0% chance that all they're doing is Ozempic.
but it's like, I take Ozempic and it totally suppresses appetite. So I don't have to worry. Like eating won't be an issue. I won't even want to eat. That's part of the appeal, I think, is that you don't have to contend with your own impulses in the
I
way
mean,
that
doesn't
you
that
used
sound
to.
kind of good to you, Brad? I feel like you're constantly talking about how you're just wanting to make the same meal and just have it as fuel and just like not think about what you're eating. I feel like that's like Brad's heaven.
That's what I do
Right.
without Ozempic. I
But
don't have
with
to. I don't.
Ozempic, it would be so much easier.
Yeah, but I like the challenge, and I accept the challenge.
Now, okay, I have a hypothetical for you.
All
Let's
right.
say that over the next 2-3 months, right? You do everything the same, eat the same meals, you go hiking every morning, you do all your crazy ass shit. Nothing changes, but you gain 25 pounds. You cannot get rid of the 25 pounds. You start doing hiking another hour every morning. You start giving yourself less calories every day. You cannot lose the 25 pounds. But it's only 25 pounds. You don't get more. And then you're offered Ozempic and it will get rid of the 25 pounds. You'll be back to normal and you're still doing all of your normal things. Would you take it?
Yeah, but that would never happen.
Yes, it would. A
Just
thousand
25.
percent it would. As you get older, you gain weight. It could happen to you this month.
No, not if you
It,
live a
it
certain
could.
way.
It
No,
could.
but no, not for no
As you get
reason.
older, your metabolism slows. It becomes harder to lose weight, easier to gain it. You get a little bit stressed out. Your metabolism gets fucked up. Let's say you have a tragedy or something like that. Your metabolism gets fucked up. You start gaining weight.
They say call it a cortisol belly on my Instagram feed. They're like, this
There you
isn't fair.
go. You
You have
get cortisol belly.
I'm so tuned to my body that like it just will never happen.
Ah,
I will
it can
do.
happen. It can happen to you.
No, not if I no. I think like honestly, like there's nothing I wouldn't do.
Okay, but it's crazy to say just no. That couldn't happen to me. No. It could. It absolutely 100,000,000,000% could and
No,
does. You see
nobody
old people,
gets.
they weigh more,
Yeah, but
generally speaking.
they stop moving. Like
No,
or they're
their
eat like
metabolism slows and their bodies force them to move slower.
okay, then you eat less. And I mean, as long as you're eating like, vegetables and fruits and whole grains and you're not eating too much, you're not going to put on weight. And if you start to, then you cut calories and you just keep your exercise up. And then, I mean, at a
But what
certain
if it
point,
didn't do anything? What if you just had that? Would you rather keep the 25 pounds and not ever be able to get rid of them, or would you take the Ozempic?
I mean, this is a hypothetical. I would
Yeah,
take the Ozempic in that scenario, but like I
but
don't
only
anticipate.
25 pounds.
But
Not that much more.
25 pounds is a lot on me.
20.
I mean, no, yeah, I'm not doing it. I won't carry weight. Like I will not. I don't like the way that it
But if it's carry
feels.
weight or take the Ozempic, which it is for a lot of people.
Yeah, but they're not doing anything like they're not doing enough to not have it on their body
You
unless
don't
it's
know
like
that.
I mean,
A lot of
let
people, I've watched Real Housewives. I've seen women go through menopause. They gain weight even though they're doing the exact same things as they've done before, and even when they start dieting, and they often can't get rid of it.
there's some truth to that, but I think like the thing is that like if a 2,500 calorie diet is where it's like you should be, it's actually hard. Most people overeat. I overeat.
2,500? That seems like a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on I mean, I'm a guy who exercises, but I
So
mean,
you eat, how many calories do you eat a day?
I don't even know. I mean, probably close to 3,000.
That's
Um,
that seems like a lot. I guess you exercise way more. I'm so sedentary though.
yeah. So it's like, it's about like what you're burning and your body type and your age and all this stuff. But it's the point I'm trying to make is that most people probably underestimate how many calories they're taking in an American processed food environment. Like it's the portion sizes, like, they always say like, oh, like how many calories per serving? A serving is like 1/4 of a cup. It's like a handful
Yeah.
of whatever
I
you
mean,
most.
that's like what these companies do. They're like, oh, a serving is 2 potato chips or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like most people are eating like 75 potato chips, which is normal, right? I mean, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying that like if people are having trouble losing weight, myself included, it's
Consider
probably
developing an eating disorder. I've done it. It's not that hard.
just you just have to have discipline. That's what you got to do. You got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure you're not eating too much, and you got to
Gotta
do
look at the
some.
pro Anna blogs. You gotta get in there and you gotta see, okay, how does Ariana Grande look? That's my goal. I'm sorry, that was a fucked up show.
She looks. Ariana Grande looks like she needs to eat something.
Yeah, that shit's scary. Like and like this is obviously not the main point of it, but I genuinely feel like they're gonna have continuity issues between the two Wicked movies because she lost so much weight while she was filming it.
Yeah, I mean, she's got like those collarbones of hers. Her clavicle is just like popping out of her body in those dresses. I'm like, ugh.
She needs to eat 3,000 calories.
Yeah, listen, I'm not. I know that eating disorders are serious, and I'm not trying
Of
to
course.
belittle. Yeah, so I'm not trying. I think I want people to be healthy. I want to be healthy. I'm not like some guy with like
You're not
2%.
emaciated. Like you're
No,
like fine.
no. I love to eat. I will eat. The thing is that I eat 2 meals a day.
I've seen him eat a cookie before. That's true. I've seen
I
it.
have a sweet tooth. I'll eat that shit. I love it. But it's just like, don't overdo it. And then exercise. That's it.
I mean, my advice would be when you find a sweet that you really, really love, overdo it as much as you possibly can, but then don't eat for like 2 or 3 days. And then
That's
it balances it out.
yeah. No, I mean, I will have the cookie. And I just think it's like eat food, not too much, mostly
Stop
plants.
eating the food for a couple of days, binge the food, go back to
Hilaria. Should I go on Ozempic, Hilaria?
Alec actually probably should go on Ozempic.
I think
He's
it's
having
coming.
those hip issues where he probably can't exercise, and if he lost the weight, it would probably help with his pain.
I think he's going to do it.
You think he's gonna go on Ozempic?
It's going to be part of his comeback. Is that like we're going to get like Alec 1.0 back, where he's
Thin
like
Alec.
Yeah, he's going to be thin and he's going to dye his hair again. It's like, wait, what happened? He's back.
Wow, he's back. He's gonna start getting Botox. He's gonna finally let Hilaria take him to the dermatologist.
I think Hilaria's probably had conversations with him about Ozempic. I could be wrong.
I'm 100% sure that she is actively pressuring him to get Ozempic, Botox, maybe like a baby facelift. She's pressuring him. She's at least saying put on sunscreen, and he's clearly not doing that.
What's a baby facelift? Like a little mini facelift?
It's like a non-surgical. Well, yeah, it's like a non-surgical facelift. They do threads, so they like literally like they numb your face while you're still awake, and then they put threads like I think like at your like jawline or something, and then like up like to like the top of your head, and they pull you tight, and then your face I guess like will create tissue around these threads, which then dissolve, and so your face is just pulled up a little bit. It's just like a non-surgical facelift that doesn't really do as much as a regular facelift.
I'm fascinated by your knowledge of plastic surgery. You know everything.
I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, you know? I look at, I mean, even in this episode of the Baldwins, for some reason, I had the thought to Google their wedding, Hilaria and Alec's wedding, to see what wedding dress she wore. But the main thing I discovered was that she's gotten a lot of plastic surgery. Like I inspected her face. I looked closely, and what I've determined that she's for sure gotten is a nose job, and she's gotten her eyes done. She had hooded eyelids.
What does that
Like-
even mean, hooded eyelids?
Hooded eye. So like you and I do not have hooded eyelids. So like if you look at my eyelids, see how you can see my eye. Like Asian people have hooded eyelids, and we don't.
All right.
That's the difference basically. So she had hooded eyes, and it's something that a lot of people do, and I don't know why, because I think that like usually people look better with hooded eyes if that's what they just naturally have. But
Yeah, don't fuck with your eyes.
yeah, but she got her eyes done for sure, and she got a nose job for sure. She might have even gotten her jaw shaved a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on that though.
You can shave your jaw?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then you can get a chin implant. It's like you can reshape your whole face if you want to.
My
But
God.
the thing is if you go too crazy, then your face looks fucked up. And Hilaria, her face looks great. She got really good work done.
She
Like
looks
really
fabulous.
good.
Yeah, I don't have any, like I always say, I don't care about plastic surgery as long as I can't notice it. I don't really know. I didn't even think about it with her until you pointed it out.
I mean, it's like, it's like how they say that like good fish should never smell fishy. Like good plastic surgery should look natural. It should never look not like plastic surgery. Like
Totally.
it should look like that's your face. And if it doesn't, then somebody fucked up badly. Or you're like Kris Jenner and you just get plastic surgery to look good on camera and then you look freakish in real life.
Yeah, I don't know. It can go bad. I would be a nervous wreck to have somebody shave my jaw. Oh my
I
God.
mean, it's the kind of thing where like if I were to get any, and I never would like get any really intense plastic surgery on my face, and I actually think nose jobs are like in general gonna go out of style the same way that like the big hard tits of the 90s went out of style. Like I think just almost
Well,
everybody looks worse with a nose
Hilaria's
job.
Hilaria's definitely had a boob job.
Oh my god, has she had a boob job? She's got like that's maybe the one thing about her that I would say like clearly looks like plastic surgery, and like I would have for her had like slightly different shaped boobs because it looks like balloons.
Yeah,
Like she looks good, but like it is just very clearly not her real boobs in like just such an obvious way.
totally. Yeah.
Let's see. So our final story of the day is and I chose this one for a specific reason. So this is a story about how Dua Lipa does.
Dua Lipa.
Okay, see, this is why I chose the story. So she does yoga for part of her show preparation or whatever. And Brad and I were looking for stories, and I mentioned this, and I said Dua Lipa, and he goes Dua Lipa, and we started talking about it, and apparently Brad is like, I don't know what you call Dua Lipa fans, but he's in the fandom clearly, and I don't know anything about Dua Lipa. So this week it's not Brad learns, it's Mira learns.
Mira
says she's the
learns.
queen of the scene, but Brad's dropping wisdom like it's never been seen. She knew it all, but now she's feeling green.
Brad, what the fuck is Dua Lipa?
I like her. I think she's a great pop star. I think that Future Nostalgia is a masterpiece, a pop dance masterpiece.
Is that her first album?
No, I don't think so, but it's the one that really broke out and made her like a superstar.
What's like the single on it? Is it like the Rules one? Like, one, don't pick up the phone?
Honestly, it has like, I want to say it has like 5 or 6 hits on it. It's a really
That's impressive.
It's a start to finish great. I mean, that's the thing. It's a masterpiece. It's truly great, and it's
wow.
Not the kind of music that I would normally listen to. It was kind of like our pandemic album in my house. There were a lot of like kid dance parties.
Right. Okay.
We were just trying to keep our kids like happy and busy.
She's
and,
got
like,
danceable songs in a big way.
It's a great album. I could listen to it happily, and then she's like just like super hot and like there's a confidence and like kind of like this smoky voice type thing happening.
She's so hot. It's like actually insane. Sometimes I just see her dancing and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where did she come from?
She's overwhelming, but she's also, this is the reason I'm really a fan, is that she's a smarty. She's literary. She has good taste in books. She has a book club. And she, whenever I see her interviewed, she seems like delightful and kind and just like sweet, you know. I don't know. I like her a lot. I'm a fan.
She is vocally pro-Palestine, and for that reason, I also am a fan. And I think that you're absolutely correct, and I love her. Also, like, I mean, her songs are super catchy. Like, I just trying to think about it, can think of 2 Dua Lipa songs that I find very catchy, and I like when they come on the radio. You being such a big fan is so funny. It's so funny. Like, what? How am I like? Brad and I have been friends since like 2013, and I'm just now discovering all these new like. Brad knows about fashion. Brad knows about Dua Lipa. What the fuck, bro?
Listen, I grew up with sisters. I have a wife and a daughter. My daughter's a teenager, and I live in Los Angeles, which I think gives you maybe proximity to some of this stuff that I wouldn't otherwise have. And then I have Instagram, and like I follow Dua Lipa on Instagram. So like I got it yesterday, like her post, because she posts all the time. I cannot get over celebrities, like how busy they are posting photos of themselves.
Follow Dua Lipa on Instagram. That's so funny.
And yeah, she's like pre-show routine, and it's all these like super sexy videos of her like doing yoga. before she goes on stage, which is a smart thing to do. If you're a physical performer and you're going to dance and sing, like you could do worse than to do a good yoga. But to have somebody film you do yoga, that's I find that funny.
I mean, yeah, it is funny. It's also, well, it does seem like she maybe has just set up the phone in one spot actually and just filmed herself doing yoga, to be fair.
She's listen, she's like, what is she? Is she a millennial? Is she close to your
How
age?
old is she? Should we guess? I'm going to guess 30. 29. You want to make a guess?
I'll say 29 too.
All right, let's see. Dua Lipa.
Or no, I'll say 27 just to be safe, but she's probably 28.
29.
29. Yeah. So I think that
that's older for a pop star, unfortunately.
I mean, yeah, she'll have a long career though, I would bet.
She will.
She does yoga.
British?
Yeah, but she's from like is her parents are like Romanian, or they're from somewhere. They immigrated to the UK, like her parents did, and then she was raised there, but I forget where she's from. It's like Romania, some Eastern Bloc. Like you can look it up. It'll,
Is her real name Dua Lipa?
Yeah, it's like
that's her real name?
Yeah, because it's like where she's from.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Bulgaria?
She's Albanian.
Albania, that's what it is. Yeah. So she's Albanian, and that's where the name.
Oh, I always thought that was a stage name.
No, that's actually her name.
Every time I read Dua Lipa, I just think of on Wendy Williams, where Wendy Williams very confidently called her Dula Peep. I can never think of anything but Dula Peep now every single time.
What did Dua say? Was she like, what?
It wasn't to her face. It was just like talking about a Dua Lipa. See, I'm doing it. News story, and she was like, "So Dula Peep."
It was funny. There was I did not see her, but like Dua Lipa was shopping somewhere near my house, and like the word got out among my daughter's friends. Like, oh my God! Like it was like wildfire.
Did they go to the store?
Someone did. Someone was close by, and but they missed her. Like she kind of popped in and popped out.
Yeah, probably because that kind of shit happens if she stays there long enough.
I guess. Yeah, I was ready to run down there to see if I could get.
Like, what other pop stars are you secretly fans of that I'm not aware of? Like,
I think I have a lot of affection for Lady Gaga. Like the music, kind of, but I just like her. I think she's cool.
How do you feel about the new album?
I don't know. I haven't listened. I don't see. That's the thing. I'm not as tuned in. And then I also think that who wrote Venice Baby or Venice Bitch? What's her?
Lana Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey. I think
we've
Lana
discussed
Del Rey.
Lana Del Rey before. Yeah. I think we share the opinion that like she is like a revolution for pop music and one of the best artists of our generation.
Her whole project is really cool.
Yes, 1,000%.
I think she's really cool. So yeah, I like a lot of them. Like I would say Lana Del Rey, Lady Gaga, Dua Lipa. I like Solange Knowles too. I'm like them. I'm sorry.
Say that again. Solange Knowles.
Is it Knowles?
Yeah, there you go. There you
go. Okay, Dua Lipa. But I think I'm the one. I'm like this kind of an oddball. I think Solange is more interesting than Beyonce. Like as a person.
I actually wouldn't disagree. I think that she's like. She's more mysterious than, well, no, she's not. But I think her project is a little bit more interesting than Beyonce's.
It's a little bit more avant-garde. It's a little bit more avant-garde.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah, and I do appreciate that she didn't decide to just go for pop like Beyonce. She did decide to go for like a more indie, like, not, like Billboard style. Like she didn't hire Max Martin. Like she's like doing her own thing with like indie artists, and I appreciate that. And I also thought that it was really cool when she attacked Jay-Z in that elevator. I was like, yeah, that's real sister shit. Like I would do that. Like if I found out that like my sister's husband cheated on her, like I would be Solange 1,000%.
Yeah, I don't know. I just find her fascinating. I follow her on Instagram too, just to she just went on vacation. She was on vacation somewhere. I want to say Mexico, but lots of photos of her in the water.
I'm not trying to get canceled here. I do think that Beyonce is an incredible performer, an incredibly skilled vocalist. Like, I mean, just in a million ways. so fucking talented, puts in the work, puts on a great show. I have so much praise for her. I did not like her country album, and I think that she kind of hasn't really had a good album since Lemonade. Oop, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know it. I don't know enough about it all to speak to it. She's a mega talent. I just think
Yeah.
I kind of feel like Beyonce and Taylor Swift are similar to me in that they're so huge and they're so carefully curated and like controlled.
Like as people or like their music?
As people, maybe more than their music, but the whole
Yeah.
thing, the whole like machine is so like
Yeah,
big
it's a machine. It's a business.
that I find it less interesting and less human or something. It's like harder to access for me.
See, I'll tell you why I think that I like Taylor Swift more than Beyonce. And I think it is actually because her project is more human. Even though like she personally is not human like at all and is maybe like the least human that I can think of. She's like just so like on another realm of like existence, but her music is self-written. And like there's plenty of pop stars that I really like whose music is not self-written, is not like who they don't have writing credits on every song or even the majority of songs. That's fine. But I think that Taylor Swift's project is more cohesive and that she has more interesting and more compelling music because it's the only place where she'll actually get personal, because she won't do it with her image or her celebrity. That's like that is like a curated image, and her music is kind of the only place where she'll allow herself to be more human and messy. And Beyonce, on the other hand,
but
doesn't
Beyonce
write her own music, and
well,
so it's not quite the same.
wait. Didn't Beyonce write Lemonade about like when Jay-Z cheated on her? That seems pretty personal, right?
Yeah, and I think that was her last good album.
So maybe the moral of the story is like write your own shit, make it personal if you want people to connect.
I think that's right. Yeah. I mean, she's got all the performance talent, and she's got way more performance talent than Taylor Swift, actually. Like, she's way better performer, or anybody. Yeah, absolutely.
Beyonce to me, like, I remember I think you made me watch that documentary on Netflix about where she was pretending to be in a high school band or whatever. What was that called?
Yeah, it was her Coachella show where she had an HBCU marching band like behind her. And I remember having you watch it because you were saying like, I don't get Beyonce. And I was like, it's fair that you don't like her music, but like if you watch this, you'll begin to get why people like her so much.
No, I mean, yeah, I listen, I like some Beyonce songs. I was just probably expressing general confusion, but I think
it was confusion for sure.
Watching that documentary brings it home. Like that to me is like that's her at her peak. Like,
yeah.
All of it was on display. She can dance, the choreography, putting it all together, and like an electric live performer.
Totally.
Got to give her.
And like something I appreciate very much about pop stars who are, as wealthy and as big as Beyonce and Taylor Swift is them putting in the effort truly, because they don't have to. They could just sit back and do whatever the fuck. And Beyonce kind of is at this point, but I mean, not really actually, but like, I really appreciated that Beyonce was like, okay, if I'm going to headline Coachella, like I'm going to put literally a year of work into it and like make it be the best show of all time. And like Taylor Swift was the same way with like the Eras tour. And like, I appreciate both of those things. Like if you're going to be that big of a star and everyone likes your shit that much, deliver.
Yeah, you got to deliver.
You got to deliver. That's what we do in our podcast.
That's right. We put years of work into this episode.
Mm-hmm. And that's right.
I feel like this might be our masterpiece to date.
Yeah. I do have an HBCU marching band in the other room ready to come in for our final act of the podcast. So that's going to be exciting.
I spent 90 minutes doing yoga before we began recording just to limber up and get my voice ready to...
I injected myself with 4 syringes of Ozempic in preparation for this episode. So... I am ready and I have no appetite.
Mira is also wearing a skin-tight catsuit.
That's right. I'm wearing a leather catsuit and I'm about to go pick up someone's kids from school. Just gonna go find some kids. All right, picking you up. Let's go.
So, yeah, I think we've covered it. Have we covered it?
I think we've covered it.
Another episode in the books. Mira, it's fun talking with you. I hope you have a great week. And give my best to Tyler. Is he around? Is he nearby?
He's nearby. He's in the kitchen, but I do have the door closed so that we can't hear him knocking dishes around in the kitchen. But I'll let him know.
All right. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.